Hello, YouTubers. This is David Back once and again to bring you what a disturbing moments in anime shows list. Now, what I mean by this is that anyway, as I say in the One Piece list, this this video is going to pertain to some of the disturbing moments in an anime show. Now, these don't just limit to kid-oriented shows like SpongeBob SquarePants, Powerpuff Girls, those Clarence, Adventure Time, and all that. But also will include adult anime shows like American Dad, Family Guy, South Park, or shows like that. Even one show in particular, or that I am going to have a hate day with. So, before I even begin the video, I want to set a few ground rules so I don't get any comments or complaints if I missed anything. For one, this review/list is going to compose of mostly anime shows. So if you expect me to do any live action shows, like, I don't know, American Horror Story, Grimm, and more even Once Upon a Time in Sleepy Hollow, you're out, Bob. Rule 2, as I've said before, this is just pertaining to kids show. This also pertains to South Park, like American Dad, yada. Rule 3. There will be a few examples I'm going to have to go into great detail with, like certain episodes. And rule 4. I will not be doing any anime disturbing moments. So if I don't have any anime in moments like, I don't know, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Teen Titans, it's Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, any anime in particular, it's mostly because if I were to do that, it would stray into hentai territory, and I wanted to get in any trouble with that. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. With the first show being the Powerpuff Girls. Now, growing up in the 90s, I kind of liked this show. I found the villains kind of interesting. And like I said, I will be doing a list of that show's villains into the future. But there were some very disturbing moments, as a lot of us don't really know about, or do know about, but kind of forgot. First and foremost is the episode Knock It Off, mostly due to all of the Powerpuff Girl knockoffs, like faulty clones, those copies that are deteriorating and losing parts of their body, and of course the mutated 10-bit cartilage. In his series, Mr. Enter has mentioned that it's in his top 25 most disturbing moments in a kid's show. So, along with Speed Demon, that's mostly because one character in particular, meaning him. Second thought, any episode that features him would be disturbing. And I do not count on Powerpuff Girls Z because him in that series wasn't all that disturbing as he was kind of annoying. And of course, there's the girls' nightmare thoughts about Mr. Green and the creature, where the episode is mostly about Pokey Oak's kindergarten. Like, yeah, I think it is a kindergarten school. Or was getting English substitute teacher. However, his appearance and entrance makes it seem like he's a demon or a monster, which the girls are pretty much that's prone to fight against. And while the episode goes on, there's some strange and nightmarish thoughts going through the girls' heads about what Mr. Bean would end up trying to teach the class. One such thought is from Buttercup and Bubbles, was when Mr. Bean tells Blossom to hand out cookies to the rest of the class. And thought that it's kind of like an old gritty black and white comic strip, where you can actually see the speech bubbles. Blossom gives one of the cookies, she ends up mutating into a monster later on. But most people probably try to put something down like, I'm trying to think of one. If you're afraid of bugs, the episode in which the roach coach is introduced would probably be considered disturbing, mostly because of cockroaches. And a lot of us would agree about that. The next show is Rugrats, and I don't know if you're thinking, wait a minute, there's not anything disturbing about Rugrats. Took that one moment. And by that's completely innocent. Alright. I have 3 to 4 episodes. What's that say different? Now, imagine if you're a little kid seeing this show for the first time. And you think it was pretty innocent too. A bunch of toddlers are using their imagination to go on adventures. With their parents not having a single clue what's going on. Well, in the episode in the dream time, there are a couple of moments most people find disturbing, yet I find kind of funny. It's when the first time Chucky has his dream, and they go into Spike Pink's doghouse, and when Chucky starts realizing that something's wrong, and get to respond, only to have him say something. And like, I'm not Tommy. It just seems completely out of the blue and weird. And it doesn't happen again until the end of the episode. This time, it's Chucky's dad at Chaz confronting Stu, who is somehow in their house. So she turns around and goes, I'm not Stu. Or does that clown laugh. Again, I don't find it as disturbing as I find it hilarious. There's one moment though I do find disturbing more than anything else. So, and that's the Mr. Friend dolls in The Mysterious Mr. Friend. Now, again, if you have a certain phobia, just something like, oh, I don't know, dolls, robots, uh, yeah, robots, or even clowns, this is considered one considered be kind of disturbing, especially since it's about Stu trying to get Tommy and the other kids to rent his new toy called Mr. Frank, who's supposed to be a little educational clown toy that's completely robotic. And, and when they think they defeated Mr. Frank, or as they call him, Mr. Feed, turns out that more of the dolls are being created, and then they basically go to war with them. All in all, well, the episode ends with Angelica coming in with Mr. Frank intact. At the end of the episode of doing the old classical, we end in metallic silver letters, only to be bludged down away by a large question mark, implying that there will be a sequel to this episode. Now, there is one I think I forgot to mention in the written list I made, but there's a moment in the episode where Tommy goes to the post office, especially his dad, and he's about to be dropped into a mail chute, and we see a skeleton in the mailman in his attire. I don't know how I missed that. But again, if you see the episode for the first time, it would be kind of disturbing as well. And the last thing I can mention from Rugrats of any generation, when it happened to be the monster from under Chucky's bed, and the bathtub story from the episode where Angelica tells Chucky and Tommy a story about a kid who somehow got sucked down the drain in his bathtub. And surprisingly enough, it has the same kid in both stories. Now in Under Chucky's Bed, it's completely different because the kid falls for a trick. And where he starts here, in this creepy low voice, is telling him to come under the bed because there's something very interesting underneath. The kid comes down from on top of the bed and gets sucked up under the bed, only to have his shoe burst out. Now, this would pertain to a lot of the animal, except in my mind, this is kind of silly. Now, for the next show, I'm going to get around the crap for this one. It's 4th Gen, my pony. The only episode I can mention at this point is that I pretty much saw in this one just to see what everybody was talking about. Helping Pinkie Pie's mental breakdown in Party of One, which theorized to have sparked numerous fan fictions and creepypasta stories based centered around her ulterior persona, Pinkamena. Now, which indeed sparked an alternative fanfic called Party of None, and may have been influence for Sergeant Sprinkle's infamous creepypasta Cupcakes. we all know about that one. If not, pass. Now on to those SpongeBob SquarePants, and believe me, there are quite a lot of disturbing moments I can mention in the show just by saying the titles of these episodes. First one off, the Splinter. Just the concept of the Splinter. Squid's Visit, and Demolition Doofus. This can become as disturbing if you want to put it that way. If you have a fear of ventriloquist dummies, then Squid would. And Squidward's sure face in the episode where he claims that he's never had Krabby Patty. Which I have to mention was slightly altered when it aired on TV because at first they had Squidward getting blown up twice is due to the Krusty Krab security system, which is basically a bucket of gasoline and a lit match. To be honest, I have no idea why they didn't do that or just kept it. It SpongeBob's gross close-up in the episode Who Bombed the Wet Pants. And of course, Puffy Fluffy in the pail for Gary. Now, granted, we kind of knew something was up with it. At the second we saw what happens with contact with another pet. But they are so cute and innocent. That is until they open their mouths. For some odd reason, when they open their mouth, it sounds like blades as they're replacing their teeth. And I still have to ask, what on earth is that thing in a Puffy Fluffy he transforms into at night? I don't know. Next show is Danny Phantom. This show I haven't talked about quite often because, well, there really wasn't that much disturbing moments in it, other than the backstory for Dan Phantom, an ultimate enemy. Basically, the evil alternate Danny Phantom. Then who fused with Vlad Plasmius and became this powerful ghost. And of course, from the Disney Channel, I don't know why it's not showing right now, it's Gravity Falls. Now, there are two things I can mention to be disturbing in the show. One, of course, is the Gideon. Also because he's supposed to be a psychic, and that is until he's exposed as a fraud. And of course, because he's voiced by the same person who voiced Flapjack. But there's one other moment I need to mention before moving on. That would be Giffany from Seuss and the Real Girl. Now, again, if you've seen the Mysterious Mr. Enter Halloween list, you'll basically know what I'm talking about. If not, summarize it real quick. Because Seuss is so socially awkward when it comes to dating, and he fought with this dating sim game. And the teacher is a high school girl named Giffany. who apparently isn't just a video game character, but in fact a real entity. That kind of grows jealous when Zeus actually manages to get a real girlfriend, and, and basically kind of goes through the mental breakdown stage to the point where Zeus, Dapper, and Mabel, yeah, I think that's right, are at this pizza place that I swear is like looking at a backwards version of Five Nights at Freddy's, especially when the animatronics start coming to life. And speaking of which, I for one cannot wait until this Halloween to see Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And to see how they're going to do the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. All I have to say is they better not screw anything up at that concept. Otherwise, there's going to be a major riot and work of mayhem. Now on to a different subject. Now, remember when I said before, or that it won't be just pertaining to animated show I was targeted at kids? Well, this is the first adult targeted animated show, South Park. Now, say what you will, South Park has aged pretty well all the time. Although continuity in certain episodes isn't as good as it should be. But I do have like about 3 discriminating moments I can mention. First off, Cartman's revenge scheme in Scott Tenorman Must Die. Now, for those who have not seen the episode or even heard about of South Park, let me explain. Scott Tenorman Must Die is an episode in which Cartman shows just how evil he can be. Now, I know in other seasons and other episodes, Cartman has proven that he can be more evil than the next person. But apart from Kyle, Scott is his most hated adversary, mostly because Scott tricked Cartman out of his money. So to get back at Scott, Cartman comes up with numerous schemes and plans to get back at him. And his first plan was to train him only to bite up his wiener in front of Radiohead. And that didn't quite work. And Scott tries to make things more interesting by adding juice to chili and then being a department. At Chili Con Carnival, Cartman does something that explains what he did in a manner which would probably make Hannibal Lecter act with respect. Basically, what happened was Cartman and knew Scott was going to do this to him, so he came up with an idea. He tricked Scott's parents into a ranch where the pony was held, after which they were shot up by the rancher while the police and the rancher were busy dealing with the report. Cartman took Scott's parents' body into the way and packed him up, found him and killed him, and bet him in the sky. And I just love Stan and Kyle's reaction. Dude, you probably shouldn't try to piss off Cartman every night, which doesn't really work. Now, we don't see Scott again until the episode where Cartman and thinks he's dead, and because nobody's talking to him other than the brothers. But there's one episode that I found both disturbing and kind of going closer and closer to going over the edge. And that would be the two-part band episode. Now, in the second part of the episode, Cartman was trying to find out whose dad Ed really was. And of course, there was an episode in season 1 where that's all that they were talking about. Who is Eric Cartman's father? Other than all that mess. Well, it turns out the entirety of South Park, including his own mother, has been keeping us a secret. And if you want to know where it is, as you've not seen the episode, keep playing the video. If not, skip on ahead. Or put it at mute. The secret to who Eric Cartman's father really is may shock a lot of people, especially since it's been about 10 seasons and since that topic ever came across. And it turned out that Scott Tenorman and Eric Cartman have a lot in common. And Scott Tenorman and father used to be a member of the Denver Broncos. That is until he had one night stand with Eric's mother, which resulted in Eric Cartman. If you're going to piece that together, that means Scott and Eric are half brothers or step brothers. Which basically means Cartman and killed his own father. Now, there's one last South Park. Very disturbing moment. That can be considered disturbing. Most of the episode was doing for Christmas. And what you can of this told by Eric Cartman in kind of a Dr. Seussian sort of way. Where the woodland and critters are actually agents of the devil. Well, when they appear all nice and sweet, that is until they reveal what's supposed to happen. Apparently, the porcupine and is going to give birth to the next savior, which turns out to be the Antichrist. And religious is blasphemy. Now, I don't really watch South Park all that much anymore, but there are still some episodes that would be considered disturbing, mostly because of how Cartman behaves in certain episodes. Like the Dog Whisperer episode, where Cartman makes Super Nanny go mentally insane, and the episode where Cartman gets the anger management psychiatrist's wife have to commit suicide after claiming that he's not upset in any way. And he does it all with a straight face, which is disturbing enough. Now for the next show we all saw coming, being Courage the Cowardly Dog. Just about any moment of Courage the Cowardly Dog can be considered disturbing at some point. But there are 3 episodes that come very close in mind. Perfect, mostly the CGI. Hey, you're not perfect moment. Freaky Fred, just the entire episode, including the poem exclusively. And of course, the disembodied floating head from the House of Discontent. The next show for that is Hey Arnold, and like with Rugrats and Danny Phantom, there weren't that many disturbing moments I can mention, other than like some of the urban legends that are told in the episodes, such as the Headless Cabby, and of course the Haunted Train. Mostly because the endings suggest that the urban legends were true. I mean, since Arnold and Gerald managed to have a big Caesar, or the fishing episode, which turned out to be an urban legend at first, it's possible. Now, another adult in show, excuse me, would happen to be Ren and Stimpy. And of course, Ren and Stimpy is about the party. The cartoon. Mostly in the episode, Ren seeks help. Now, you have no idea what this one's about. See, the mysterious Mr. enters and seeks help and the atrocity revealed. Basically, Ren's done something so horrible that he goes to a psychiatrist and begins to explain his entire life story. And through some disturbing detail, from his birth to his torture victims, most prominently a frog that Ren doesn't just kill right away, but ends up torturing in numerous ways, such as hooking up to a car battery, running a tricycle wheel on it to the point where all of its intra is flying out of its mouth, while shoving a firecracker up its rear and exploding it. And to the point where Ren's confronted by his father, who for some odd reason is dressed like a Catholic priest, is to tell old Ren and that it would be best to put the frog out of his misery, and so he can continue suffering. And by giving him a chainsaw, enough said. Next is the amazing world of Gumball. Now, again, I wouldn't say that there was a lot of disturbing moments in the show, but there are a lot of creepy moments, and some moments that make me go, what the hell? Like, Nicole was broken the limit, and of course, the limit. Or, after trying numerous times to set a good example, all for Gumball, Darwin, and Anais, as she snaps when and her husband Rick Edward basically tries to get the kid to shoplift, but she makes her go on a frenzy. And when a security guard tries to take her out with a stun gun, she pulls out one of the darts, grabs the guard by the shoulder, and rapidly ages him by crawling in his face, while at the same time fire is coming out of her eyes. And there's also the episodes The Recipe and the Puppy. In order, or the only reason why the recipe would be considered disturbing is because of this character who's literally just a living piece of toast, who dies in almost every episode that he's featured in, and then comes back numerous times. This is disturbing in a way because we see him die a lot of times in the past. That's from whether being eaten by birds, or it's turning into powder or water, etc., etc. The Puppy, however, although the title is pretty innocent, it's anything but. And Gumball and Ice and Darwin try to come up with a plan and to get their parents to get them a puppy. Instead, their father brings home a soft-shelled turtle, that apparently has the mind of Hannibal Lecter. If you've seen the episode, you pretty much know what I mean, since nothing can basically get rid of this turtle. Which probably means that they're stuck with it for the rest of its life, for their lives, whichever comes first. Now, there's one other episode I'm trying to think what it is. Oh yeah, The Joy. The episode where everybody kind of goes through this rainbow jewel zombie infection. That's not as disturbing as it is somewhat parodizing a horror film. Now, if you really want to go with disturbing in an animated show, my money is virtually on an Adventure Time. Mostly for the nightmare or thoughts of Finn in the episode King Worm, and any episode, or until recently, that features the Lich. Well, maybe except for the episode where the new form of the Lich kind of switches back, and in order to fight off a pair of con artists. And if you want to know why I think the Lich is disturbing, see my other videos. But the nightmare thoughts that Finn has in order to get rid of King Worm are pretty elaborate. As first, there's ultimate fear of the ocean that comes into play. Then the Lich, which surfaces, and then Princess Bubblegum from Towns when he's too young. Then there's that ghost girl, and then finally clowns. Again, who isn't really afraid of clowns? Now for the next show, I'm just going to say the title of the show and what the character, and then move on. Salad Fingers. Just Salad Fingers. It's creepy, it's disturbing, it is a zombie-like character that gets pleasure from pain. And the next show is Invader Zim, and Dark Harvest is the ultimate in disturbing episodes. It seems there's a controversy that made somebody commit murder due to the episode. I don't know. Now for the third adult targeting show, myself included, would be American Dad. Now I know it's real offensive, but there isn't anything that disturbing on American Dad, is there? Actually, there's quite a few. Oh, the Audrey 2 style hot tub in hot water that featured Sumo Green. And the episode where Barry revealed that he's actually on medication that keeps him stable. If he doesn't take his medication, he becomes sort of an evil, sociopathic, and genius in a way. And of course, Haley Smith, if she's ever dumped. Now, if she dumps a guy, it's no big deal. But if a guy dumps her, she doesn't take it very well. And then the episode where they ultimately, bluntly basically say if she goes on a rampage again, she will be sent to jail. All because her boyfriend Jeff dumped her. Oh yeah, aren't they married at one point? Now, the next few those shows I'm going to mention all have something in common. Mostly because they're remakes of the original show. Basically anything to do with Batman. From The Batman, and where Kevin Michael Richardson infiltrates the Joker, to the most recent Beware the Batman. And for the Batman I have, of course, the Joker is being disturbing because, well, why not? Anything the Joker does is somewhat disturbing. And seeing people look at this, that gives them that Permastone Joker grin. And even the episode where he turns a police officer into Clayface. Now, of course, there's also Batman and Beyond, and the TV movie, The Return of the Joker, where it has about 2 disturbing moments. It's been a while since I've seen it, but these two stick in my mind the most. Mostly Joker Jr., or Robin turning into the Joker, and of course the original Joker's death, where he is shot by Robin with the joke bang gun. Now for the first Batman animated, Batman the animated series, the most disturbing moments seem to be about the villains. And then again, the series was supposed to pay homage to the comics at the time. And for the villains, I have Man-Bat its transformation, Scarecrow, Bane's venom overdose, of course, Mark Hamill's Joker, and even the episode Baby Doll. Oh, as for Batman the Brave and the Bold, there's a couple I can mention. In the episode Emperor Joker, after gaining the powers of Batmite, Joker becomes all-powerful, almost thanks to ultimately kill Batman. And of course, we get to see it in numerous ways. From being burned alive with acid, eaten alive by sharks, run over by a train, and impaled by the Iron Maiden, and decapitated with a guillotine, etc., over major death traps. And of course, there's also the episode where we're introduced to the living version of the gentleman ghost Jim Craddock, or as they put it in that episode, Jack the Ripper. Funny, in that series they seem to know who Jack the Ripper is, but in real life we have no idea who he could be. Now, for Beware the Batman, again, there's like 3 villains that probably make the show disturbing. Professor Pig and Mr. Toad being the first 2, mostly because Mr. Toad is basically an anthropomorphic toad. Man, I don't really know what he is. And while Professor Pig is mostly a doctor wearing a pig mask, there are some moments with him that do seem kind of disturbing, like the first episode, where Alfred breaks his ankle and the professor wants to amputate it with a bone saw, even and fights Batman with it. The other villains would include Killer Croc, and an interesting villain, Humpty Dumpty. Interesting, I didn't really know there was a villain for Batman called Humpty Dumpty. Now, of course, for this series there was no Joker, but near the end there was the introduction of Deathstroke or Slade. Now for Ben 10. And by Ben 10 I mean every incarnation of the series, from the original Ben 10 to Ben 10 Omniverse, and so on and so forth. The 3 main things that are disturbing are anything involving Ghost Freak, because of all the aliens in the Omnitrix, Ghost Freak seems to be the most disturbing and scary. That is until Toepick made the scene. Then there's Zombozo and his circus freaks, Right Leg, Thumbskull, and Acid Breath. And like I said, when Toepick reveals to Cyclope his face, apparently it's so disturbing and scary it turned him white out of fear. Now, we're not treated with the pleasure of seeing Toepick's face, but only one can imagine what could be hiding behind that cage-like door or on his helmet. The same can be said for what was first underneath Ghost Freak's exoskin. Now for the next show, codename Kids Next Door. Now again, there's only 3 villains that truly make the series disturbing. Father, basically any episode that features father. Grandfather in Girl Named Kids Next Door, Operation Zero, mostly because for his plan to turn everyone on the planet into senior zombies. And of course, the delightful children from down the lane, who only speak in a monotone-like manner, which is kind of creepy and disturbing, seems they were once Kids Next Door operatives. More importantly, is the legendary Sector Z, who were immortalized by Father. The next series is Dexter's Laboratory, and there are 2 episodes in mind when it comes to disturbing for me. Slightly psycho when Mom doesn't have her gloves and begins to go psychotic. Especially since at the end of the episode we were paired in with a paradising homage to Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Well, again, later on there would be a Michael Jackson Thriller reference, and minus the Vincent Price laugh. And of course, the episode Jeepers Creepers Where's Peepers. Again, Mr. Enter has done an anime atrocity review for this episode, and we mentioned it in the Halloween episode. And I have to mention this because he didn't mention it in the video. This was actually the last time Dom DeLuise ever did his voice acting career, or for Kusi. Which is kind of interesting and at the same time kind of depressing. And for anybody who's a fan of DeLuise, I am, seeing as I watched a lot of DeLuise films, all that. But mostly the disturbing parts of the episode is what happens to Peepers. As the anime style villain seems to be draining the palate or from the planet Coos and using it and to physically eat and mentally deform Peepers, quite graphically and quite grotesquely. Then I have to mention something about the villain. Like with the wall off into the woods, the life of Broadway. A edition and videos actually on YouTube mostly. Did they really have to make the anime villain's appearance so suggestive? Just saying. Now the next show is The Fairly Odd Parents. And again, there's only 2 things that will make this very disturbing. Not anything to do with Vicky or anything, or the episode where Vicky gets back at Timmy with the help of Cosmo and Wanda, or when it's revealed in Timmy's secret wish that he wished for the entire planet to stop aging for the last 50 years, or even in the episode where Cosmo and Wanda are sleep deprived for so long, their faces start to become and grotesquely detailed as Squidward's short face. There are 2 things though. The episode Just the Two of Us, when Timmy wishes that he and Trixie Tang are the only 2 people left on Earth. And after a while, Trixie kind of goes insane from the lack of attention. Wait a minute. Female character goes insane from lack of attention. Oh, I think that is from where Party Fun came from. And of course, Scary Fairies. From that one episode where Cosmo, Wanda, and Poof kind of get back at Timmy for scaring Poof by granting the wish to have it dark for 12 hours. After which, both Cosmo and Wanda tell Timmy a story about what happens to fairies when and it's dark for more than 12 hours. When it's dark for that long. Apparently they transform into scary fairies, which in turn try to eat their god kids. Now, like Timmy, we're kind of laughing this away. It is until it actually starts to happen. Now, for the last show, there are 3 moments, one episode in particular, that becomes disturbing altogether. Family Guy. Mr. Enter has mentioned this a lot in his anime atrocities, one episode in particular, 2 in particular, and one character in general. First off, let's get right off the bat. Brian's acid trip in Seashell Party. Or not only does his little acid trip cause him to cut off his own ear, but this little nightmare world that he's in, and seems to be like a nightmare version of American Yuki's Alice. And the character that is pretty disturbing is, of course, Evil Stewie. Or, like, pre-season 9 Stewie. In other words, Stewie from the earlier seasons of Family Guy, where he was hell-bent on taking over the world and killing Lois. But one episode of Family Guy in particular made it very disturbing. Mr. Enter has mentioned this before, and I'll let you go to his review. Herpy the Love Sword. Basically, after seeing some kind of blood pack on TV, Stewie and Brian decide to do a blood pack. Later on, it reveals that Brian gave Stewie herpes. Not only Stewie, but everybody Brian has been in contact with, including Chris. What's worse is that they show the disease time and time again throughout the entire episode. So, and what's the moral of the episode? Don't lie. Oh, I cannot wait till Mr. Enter next review of the episode where, I don't know, Brian gets Stewie pregnant, or any other bad episode of Family Guy. Well, that's it for this video. Oh, but tune in next time as I go over a list for next month on one particular topic. And this topic, and actually like a lot of people's help on. And the rules are simple for this next list. It has to be a prehistoric animal. Basically, the next video is going to be about both dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures. There's in honor of Jurassic World coming out both on June 12th, which one I could not wait to see myself. Other than that, I will see you in the next week. But again, and for the rules, it has to be an actual prehistoric creature. It can't be from any movie like King Kong, and or the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World, or because that one's too new and it's possibly not real. So the second rule has to be a prehistoric animal that it's been around since between the Triassic period to now. Nothing from pre-dinosaur age. As in rule 3, no prehistoric humans. Meaning no cavemen, Neanderthal, all Cro-Magnons, Australopithecus, that sort of thing. This is Dino 091 saying subscribe, comment, and like this video. Leave a comment and or a request in the comment section below. Or go to my channel to see other videos that I have done. And I'm on Facebook. And I will see you all next time.